We are telling your followers that you started a live video. Well, welcome everybody. Hey Jim, welcome. I know you are just checking in as you are going to watch the convention tonight. Hello, Carrie, welcome. This is some of the only times that I miss not having a TV. That's my red tongue, sorry. Because of politics, but I'm kind of glad that I don't have it because television, that is, because I would be glued to the TV and get nothing else done. Oh, Kool-Aid. Yep. These are Jolly Rancher tongue, absolutely. Hello, Ashley, welcome. We're talking about my Jolly Rancher tongue. But, so hopefully I won't interrupt your Democratic convention watching tonight, but we will wait a couple more minutes to see if anyone else joins, and then we are going to take a look at my Japanese travel journal. It's one way in which you can, in which I journal, but one way you can journal. Hello, Nick. Welcome. I was just working on your birthday present, Nick. So I'm hoping to get that in the mail soon. Jim, your birthday present is ready. It's just that I need to send it when I send in. Magda, welcome. Goodness. Patty's here. Trishay's here. Welcome. Hello, everyone. So don't get too excited. It's just a little something to celebrate your birthday, both you and Jim, birthday twins. It is some night of the week, and all I know it's August because it's our birthday months. But other than that, I couldn't tell you what day of the week it is, what number of the week it is. I know it's not the 26th yet because that's my birthday, and so, but we are somewhere, I think, 18th, 19th, something like that. Jim's birthday and Nick's birthday are both next week. It is either the 27th or 28th, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not looking at my notes. But thanks. Am I 18th? Tuesday the 8th. Today is Tuesday the 18th. Yes, thank you. So what we are going to do, Carrie was writing the 17th all day at work. Thank goodness I don't have to write. Jess is here. Welcome. Jess all the way from New Zealand. Kiwi Power. We are definitely all lost as to what day of the week it is and what month and all those kinds of things. So yeah, so there we are. So let's go ahead and jump into our project for the night. This is a travel journal that I did of one of my trips to Japan. And what I used to do is I would pre-make pages to go into a journal, and then I would fill those pages when I would go to a particular country, and so I would do one spread a day for each day that I was there. So it would not become overwhelming, and all I would need to do is to fill a 2-day spread. So, and that's what I would do. That's what I would do for each of my major trips that I would go. And this was a 10-day trip to Japan. So let's, and then if we have time at the end of the session, I will share with you some of my Japanese stamps that I've been collecting over the years. Most of these are used stamps or canceled stamps, and I use them usually for decorative purposes. And at one point I was hoping to do a Japanese stamp diary of just a book filled with Japanese stamps. So if we have time, that is what I'm going to do for today. So this will probably be the last time you see me on camera. I will maybe turn the camera around once again at the end. So let us go. So I am going to turn the camera around. You will see my curtains, and then you will see my journal. So let me get into frame here. There we go. So here we are. I decided to do this in a vertical orientation rather than a horizontal orientation because I don't know if Instagram Live allows you to do a horizontal orientation for your camera. So rather than test that out for you, I'm just going to do the vertical. So this is it is a spiral bound journal. And as you can see, it has splayed a little bit because it is stuffed with stuff. I don't particularly care for that, but it's not too bad. What I should have done was have a bigger spiral here so that the covers would lie flat. But, that's what you learn. I could take this apart and put a new spiral in if I wanted to, which is one of the benefits of doing a spiral binding. It's for my purposes. So I made the journal, yes. So these are book boards that I covered. All of the papers used in this journal were papers that were part of my trip to Japan. So all the papers were purchased in Japan that make up this journal. So yeah. So this is the front cover. The inside cover. This is a Japanese paper that was based upon kimono patterns. And so I love this paper. And it has a nice textured feel to it. It really is stunning. So all the backgrounds that you see here, all the papers that you will see in the background are papers from the trip. So I am not a big fan of my handwriting, and what I do is I just use the computer to print out on a variety of different media to do the journaling. So I'm not one of those hand journalers, so I do all this on the computer. You can see on this trip I went primarily to Tokyo, Nagoya, and Kyoto were the three big cities on this particular trip. We were traveling with the Duke Ellington Orchestra. I was the road manager at the time, and sometimes singer with the Magda is here. Yes, she is, Jim. And sometimes would sing if on occasion when they needed a vocalist. So this is one of my favorite papers because you can see it has little origami cranes in the back printed on the paper, and so I love that paper. And this nice yellow color. So the first page, let me just move my water out so that I don't spill everything. I wrote these haiku on the airplane to pass the time. And so haiku is a 5-7-5 syllable triplet. So the first one is a very big man snoring loudly next to me, 12 hours to go. Hey Anna, welcome. The second one, you can tell I was getting a little grumpy. It says, baby walks the aisle, daddy holds her hands up high, I want to trip them. So, and then we get to this one down here. Halfway to Japan, have lost feeling to my butt. Next meal would be nice. But anyway, so that was so those are my haiku. This was the time that Sarah Palin said that she could see Russia from her back out her window. Crossing Russia now. We'll wave to Sarah Palin. Say hello, neighbor. So anyway, so that was something to do while on the plane ride. I do this often. I keep all my receipts on trips, and then I will use them for backgrounds and things like that. So that's what I've done here. And then I have one of those little stencil cards that you can has all the letters of the alphabet, and you just take a pen and use it to do this little script here. But so that is that. This spread is dedicated to the 100 yen store, which is the equivalent of our 99-cent stores, and they are all over Japan, and you can get all kinds of great things at them. You can see some of the little papers, some of the little wrappers. I bought some origami paper, this little Hello Kitty little zip bag that you can put little treats in and things like that. And so these are some of the paper products, including the little packaging, the paper wrapping in the back there. And then just a little indication of what I bought, like these little ATC cards, which is perfect size for ATCs, and so little things like that. So glue sticks, a craft blade equivalent to our X-Acto knives. So those are just some of the things that I purchased at the 100 yen store. Here's the first spread. I love going to the craft stores in Japan. I have a whole series of them. And so what I did in this particular page, rather than put paper washi down, I did washi tapes. So ATCs are called artist trading cards. So these are miniature, like business-sized cards. They're miniature pieces of artwork that you then trade with other artists, and people collect them. So they're about the size of a business card, and artists will decorate them whatever their medium is, and then they trade them, and you can collect them. So those are called ATCs, and so it's the perfect size miniature art card. So these are all the washi tapes that I purchased. So I did just as a little weave pattern with these washi tapes. The Japanese love stickers, and so that's what these are. Muffy, I think these are Muffy stickers, right? Someone can correct me. I think that's a Muffy sticker. And then here's a second page. And then they have these little, they love puffy stickers. And then these little googly eyes. Everything's better with little googly eyes on it. So they love sparkly things. Hey, Nan, welcome. This is one of the things that I love. These are little tabs, market tabs, that you put on the sides of the pages to mark the page. What we would normally do as a tab, but they these cute little kawaii animals, and then what they do is they flip to the other side as well. And I use these in my Moleskin journal to mark the pages of different collections and things. And then this is the traditional page of what I do. These backgrounds are all done with stamp pads. All I've done is taken a stamp pad and then just rubbed it against the back on the paper, and that's it. That's all you have to do, and you can get some great looking looks, and it's a quick and easy background. And one of the biggest things that prevent people from journaling is getting started. So what I would tend to do is just take these ink pads, and just every other page, just put color on a page, so that when it comes time to start, you're not staring at a blank page. So this is a spread dedicated to the Tsukiji Fish Market, which is one of the largest fish markets in the world. It opens up about 3 o'clock in the morning, and this is where restaurants send all of their fish brokers to go buy fish for the restaurants. And these are fish that are caught and brought in or flown in to the Tsukiji Fish Market for auction. And they are open to observers, so you can go and stand in line and walk through all the different exhibits of fish, and you can see some of the fish here. This is tuna. This is the beginnings of your maguru sashimi and your maguru sushi, which is tuna belly, which is the best part of the fish. Now, the other interesting thing here too is that what I do in all my journals is I simply print out the photos. You don't have to use the original photos, and so if you have some vintage photos that you want to use in your journal but are afraid that you're going to mess them up or ruin them, just take photo scans, just scan them, and then print out the pictures on your computer and use those instead. So that you always have the picture and you always have the original. So that's a great way, I find, to journal. And plus you can print them out to the size that you want. And I'm a big fan, as you can tell here, of the double mount. So what you do is you take a photo, you mount it with a 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch border all the way around, and you take that and then line that on another color cardstock as well. And so you get a double matted photo. So this is a traditional indigo pattern that's only found in one particular part of Japan. So this was another kimono pattern that was turned into washi. So that is the Tsukiji Fish Market. Once again, this is a typical spread, and these are acetates or overhead sheets that have been printed on the reverse, so that you can print on these acetates or these transparencies. So I do like the double mount. I think it just gives it a nice finish when you have the ability to do that. So that is the Tsukiji Fish Market. I just will take a single thought and turn it. Nick is grocery shopping at the Japanese market at the moment. So she may get kicked off once in a while, but she has her headphones in. I love the Japanese mayo. It's called the Kewpie. It's like a little Kewpie doll on it. If you've never treated yourself to Japanese mayo, it is fantastic. It's a little bit more sour than American mayo is. I find American mayonnaise a little too sweet. And especially the salad dressing, like the Miracle Whip, I just find it a little too sweet. So I love getting the Japanese mayo. And there's a brand that comes in a plastic tube called Kewpie, and that's the kind of mayo that I get. But what I will do is I'll find something of interest, which is what I do in my regular daily journal. Is I will write about one significant thing a day, and then just write about that. And so that's what I'll dedicate a spread to this in my journal, of just one idea and one concept, and just go with it. This was traveling. I agree, Nick. So get a bottle and enjoy it for me. So this page is dedicated to the Tokyo Metro system. So this is their Metro map. And it's a color-based system, and many of them are just big loops or one direction. And the nice thing I like about their subway is that the stops are numbered. So you know if you're going in the right direction, because if the numbered stops get larger, you're going one direction. If they're smaller, you're going in the opposite direction. So you always know which direction that you're going. Oh, this is upside down. Sorry about that. So that's what I love about these. Like, this is the Marinucci line. So this is stop number 20, and this is stop number 21. And the Marinucci line is a big loop, so you know if you're going in the right direction. So it really is very easy to get around on the Japanese metro. But I'm a big fan of the Japanese metro, and they have these metro cards that you can get that are refillable, and they are swipe cards, so you can take them and just put it on the reader, and it will read your location, start your location. Then when you get to your destination, you read your card again, and then it will deduct the appropriate amount of money based upon the number of stops that you've made on the train. So I love, I really do, and all the signs are multilingual signs, and so it really is, and it is the precision of the Japanese metro that really enamors you to it. If it says it's going to leave at 10:20, it's going to leave at 10:20. But on this day, I was remarked that in the United States, you queue up on the right side. In Japan, you queue up on the left side. So if you are on the escalator and you are on standing traffic, what you do is you stand on the left and passers-by go on the right. So you can either ride the escalator up, or you can move on the escalator and walk up the escalator. So, hey Lisa, welcome. So I love that, and they have all these signs, keep to the left here. So I just thought that was humorous, and so I took a picture of the sign, and that's what I always used to do. Is I would take pictures of the exit so I could look on my phone to know where I was supposed to get on and get off the subway, because it can get a little bit confusing at times once you get somewhere, to know how to re-enter that particular location. So that's use my camera to do that. So I just found the sign funny, keep to the left. And it says here, the note, it says, nice, civil, and orderly is expected of everyone, visitor, national, or local. It's not uncommon to see people patiently waiting online for their time to do whatever it is that they need to do. Which doesn't mean that the Japanese aren't a very rushed people, because they are. They're very busy people, and they do want to get somewhere quickly, but they do it in a very nice manner. So this spread was dedicated to the metro system. This spread was dedicated to the holiday cards. I was always amazed at how the Japanese love the Christmas holidays, because it is primarily a Buddhist nation. There are some Christian and specifically Catholic denominations there, but they love Christmas. They love the spectacle of Christmas. So what I did was I bought a couple of holiday cards to put in my journal. And this is a cut paper card. It's hard to see, but this top layer is cut paper, and then it's mounted on this silver cardstock. The Japanese people love gifts and cards and wrapping. The other thing that they do is they do cards called Nengajo, which are New Year's cards. So the very first day of the new year, they send out all these kinds of usually handmade cards, but you can also purchase them celebrating the new year and the Chinese zodiac symbol for that particular year. And so it's a very family tradition to print their own. So that's what this was. I printed my own this particular year using my GoCo printer. It's so funny that Lisa's with us now, because that's how I met Lisa online, was through GoCo printing exchange. So, but this was my version. This is the year of the ox. And so let me see if I can get this without it going into... so that is my Ningajo. So, and that's not to be confused with Ninjago or Ninja Joe, which is a cartoon character or TV character. So that is that spread. This was just some sightseeing. I'm a big fan of architecture. And so the Japanese have architecture that mimics most other cultures as well. There is a miniature Statue of Liberty. This is a Eiffel Tower-esque kind of architecture here. And this is what I tend to do. These are just adhered with washi tape, so you can lift up the transparency to look at the image. So this is a bus stop, believe it or not. So that's just beautiful there. They have the Japanese version of the egg. This is the Kyoto Tower. It's a radio tower. And the other interesting thing to me is that they have shrines wherever, and so you get this mix of modern and tradition. So this particular photo is all about this building crane. So they were building on the other side of this building here, but then you see this little shrine that's here that just pops up at the corner. So it really is fun to walk around and see these mini shrines everywhere. And then the background, once again, are just papers that I got on the trip. And once again, this is one of those ink pad backgrounds with the acetate adhered with the sentiment. This spread is about money and money cards. So this is the equivalent of a $10 bill right now. When I lived in Japan with the military, it was 250 yen to the dollar. So those are good days. Now it fluctuates anywhere between 90 to 100 yen to the dollar. And then these are the money cards that you get and that you give for all special occasions. And this was one of the very first products that I used and bought Japan. This is mizuhiki, which are paper cords that you then fold and manipulate into shapes to adorn envelopes or gifts. This is a whole art unto itself, and I could spend days and days working with mizuhiki. But that's just, who wouldn't want to get that in the mail? These are usually hand delivered as well, but it's just stunning. This was a trip to one of the shrines, Torii Gates, with the big what are normally called peace bells, but the big bells here. And then of course I had to have at least one orange background. And then this is another. I've demonstrated this before, but this is a photo that I took. And unfortunately, I beheaded the woman to be able to do this. But she wasn't too keen, and I'll show it to you in a little bit, of me taking her photo. But because she was working in the hotel, she had to acquiesce, and so I tried to be as nice as possible about it. But what I did is I took one of my photos, printed it out on the laser printer, and then used that contact paper transfer technique that I showed you. To where you remove the paper with water from the back, and then I pasted it down here, and so that so I kind of like this page, not just because of the color, but just the way that it turned out. This was one of the hotels that I stayed at. This was in Nagoya, and I was enamored by these fountains, and I didn't understand why. There's that side and this side, and it wasn't until 6 months later that I realized that these were the signs of the zodiac. But I didn't know why it just didn't click with me at first. But yeah, so I just was enamored by that. This is one of the favorite hotels that I stay in. This is the hotel that actually commissioned my artwork for the Tokyo Olympics. And so this is Hotel Okura, and every floor has a flower arrangement that gets changed out every day. They have a florist that comes in, and this is Ikebana, which is a very particular style of floral arrangement. And so it's just lovely that they take the time out to do these special kinds of things. And the interesting thing is that these backgrounds started off as baby wipes that I was using to take off the color off my stamp pads of my stamps, and so that's how these came to be. And then once I had the basic color on them, then I would take re-inkers and then just bleed color onto them and let it saturate. So don't throw out your baby wipes, let them dry out. So Rhonda's here. Welcome, Rhonda. We are looking through my Japan travel journal, and then this was one of the ladies that was one of the elevator operators. And so she once again acquiesced to me taking her photo. But and then what I tend to do with these is I try to find washi that matches the theme, and so I had this first, and then I found this paper in my stash, or for my collection, that I bought back with me. I always try to find, because New York is so cosmopolitan and it's so welcome around the world. You tell people from New York you're from New York, and they always want to talk to you about it. So on all my travels, I try to see if there's anything similar to what we have in New York in that location, and it just so happened that this was the Japanese take on the hamburger and hot dog, and they call it New York style hamburger and hot dog, and you can have it with chili beans or without chili beans, which is their term for chili. But yeah, and you can wash it all down with a Budweiser. So they're trying to bring a little bit of America to Japan. So that just cracks me up to see anything that's local to New York, or even Texas for that sake, in an international location. So this was the other thing that really surprised me. This is the love sign, the Robert, Indiana love sign. We have this. I did eat there, and it tastes just like a hamburger and hot dog. So, or what we would call a chili dog. But and it was good. It was good. A little pricey, obviously, but good. But this surprised me. I turned around the corner. It was a cold and blustery day, and I turned around the corner, and I saw this love sign, which is the Robert, Indiana love sign, and just was once again enamored that something from home, i.e. New York, was in Tokyo. So of course I had to be the tourist and take a photo of it. And this was in Shinjuku, which is not a suburb, but a part of Tokyo, the hip part of Tokyo. One of my favorite places to go is the Tokyo Hands. This is one of the largest craft stores in Tokyo, and you can get everything there. It is, I think, 6 floors, but each floor has 3 sections. Yeah. So it's the equivalent of 18 floors of arts and crafts. And like I said, you can get anything and everything there. And it's nice that they have all this in English. Lisa, you would so enjoy it. It is absolutely amazing. And the nice thing about the hotel too, and most of the hotels will have a concierge that can help you out, but they give you these little handouts so you can hand this to the taxi driver. Lisa, don't get me going. I always take a collapsible suitcase with me, and then I also take those big tubes that I could bring paper back with, and so I do take extra luggage. And the benefit for me is because I was traveling with the Duke Ellington Orchestra, we got extra baggage allowance that was paid for by the venue, so I could bring back as much stuff as I wanted. So yeah, so I was very, very fortunate. Now I have to be a little bit more careful. That what I try to do now is I try to have increased baggage added to my contract so that I can bring things back. Rhonda, let us know where he gets stationed. There are a couple of Air Force stations in Japan, so fingers crossed that he gets stationed there. He could do much worse than going into the Far East and being stationed in the Far East with the Air Force. There's some great places in Korea as well that he may get stationed, and so good luck with that. I hope he does get the pleasure of operating out of Japan. I think he will enjoy it. But I love this just this extra touch and one of the things that I always do too is that I always take a business card of the hotel where I'm staying, so that I can give the business card to the taxi driver should I need to go home, get back to the hotel and not be able to communicate. So that's another trick of the trade. But it is just one of the greatest. This was actually the Shibuya store. But it's just great. It's just great. I love the Tokyo hands. This was in Nagoya. This was a series of pages. They have this giant Ferris wheel that will take you into the heights of the city, and you can get a 360 view of the city. And so that's what this series of pages are about, so that you can travel and see the ride of the Ferris wheel. And these are enclosed cages that are on a Ferris wheel that will go through the air, and it takes about I think it's like a 22-minute ride. So it goes really, really slow, so you can actually take really good pictures. And the sides are open, so that you can take pictures out the side. But you can see the floor has mesh on it, so you don't obviously fall through. And here is finishing the rotation. And this is again that indigo pattern paper. And you can see here the single matted photo as opposed to the double matted photo. But yeah, there we go. This was another shrine that I visited. And I think, is this the same paper? Let me see. It's a different paper, but it's the same. It's a similar pattern. So there's this pattern, which this is based upon a emperor's kimono pattern, and that's compared to that one. And then this is the shrine that I visited. This was right around the hotel where I was staying. I was just walking about, getting lost in the city around the hotel, and fell across this shrine. And these are little prayers that you can purchase, and then you put them up on this little wire stand, and then people will come and say prayers for you. And this is where you take a drink from, or you wash your hands as well from this wishing well, so to speak. And most shrines will have this for purification purposes. And what you do is you take one scoop, you wash one hand, put the water out, then you take the scoop again, dip it in, and wash your other hand, right? And then you change the hands again, you bring another scoop of water, you pour the water in your hand, and you sip from your hand. and so that is the pattern. And you do that before you go into the actual temple itself to say your prayers of thanks. And this is my favorite spread here. This is Tokyo at night. If you think New York likes their neon, Tokyo likes just as much neon. So these were photos that were taken on my trip, and I think any of these would make a great postcard. And I still may develop them at some point. And then I just do a little conclusion on the back. It says, my stay in Japan is complete, and it is with sadness that I say goodbye. I lose a part of myself every time that I return to Japan because I always remember why and how I fell in love with the country. I love the juxtaposition of the calm demeanor of the people and the hustle and bustle of Tokyo. I love the sense of tradition and the rise of modern architecture. Similarly, there are ancient traditions of the artisans next to the high-end stores of all the most popular designers. Of course, a trip to Japan isn't complete until I visit my favorite paper manufacturers and Tokyo hands. If you want to see what will appear in the U.S. craft stores in 2 years, make a trip to Japan now. By using the papers found on this trip throughout this book, I can always have a reminder of this special trip. Until my next trip, sayonara. So that is how I journal. So that is one of my travel journals. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. And so that is that. And what time? If you have any questions, now would be a great time to ask them. Hopefully I haven't bored you. But in the time that we have left, I'll show you some of my favorite things. And these are some of my stamps that I have collected from Japan. Now, I've shown you a similar box to this, and these are photo boxes that you can keep. This is a box that I purchased at Michael's, and these were on special. They always have specials on their storage containers, so I bought these. And then each of these is labeled with a particular style of stamp, so I can find them easily. So what I will do is I will just take a couple of these out and share them with you. And so Japanese love kawaii, which roughly translates to cute. So they always have stamps dealing with cute little animals and things. So let me put this away within reach, obviously, so that I can get it again. So like there's a little fox there. They love dogs and cats, so that's a cute die cut stamp. Traditional tattoo style, Asian art style of animals. So there's the tiger there. Let's see what else. I have a whole bunch of these. Bears, little bunny rabbits. And so I could go on and on about these. These are the famous snow monkeys that you see on like National Geographic, all those Arctic monkeys that are shivering in the hot springs with snow flying around them. So that is one popular theme, like little tiger cub. I love Japanese lettering, whether it be calligraphy or whether it be kanji. So I always try to get something that I have no idea what this translates to. I did see the either Nagano is the way I pronounce it, or Nagano monkeys. I did, and I have a picture of them as well. Nan, maybe I'll send you that picture. It's in color, but I do have a postcard made from that. So here, but just that kanji. Wouldn't that be lovely to decorate an envelope? And what I do with these is, if I'm sending a Japanese themed something or another, I will use this in place of a wax seal, and we'll seal the envelope with stamps. That's another great way of using your stamps. So I just think those are just so cool looking. Like I said, I have no idea what any of these kanji translates to, but I just think it's cool looking. Let's see what the next couple are. Oh, here's a big one. These are anime or cartoons. They love this stuff. So these are, here's a Mickey Mouse. Maybe I'll send that to Clocky. So there's a Mickey Mouse. This is, I thought this was Pooh Bear, but it's just a regular teddy bear. There's that. This is a Japanese character. I forget which one that is. Of course, you have a whole bunch of Hello Kitties. They do love their kawaii. So there's another cute teddy bear. Here's a Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. They have Charlie Brown. They have all of those kinds of, here's another Hello Kitty. So all these little cute little things. That way, there's a Moomin. I think it's Moomin. I think that's called a Moomin character. They have Charlie Brown. They have all of them. Speaking, did I get it? Did I get it? Yeah. How fun is that little stamp? Charlie Brown smiling at the mailbox, getting mail. So, there's that. Here's a Peter Rabbit. So they love all this kawaii, cute stuff. I think that is another, what's that called? Miffy, I think. This is definitely Miffy. I know that. I've seen that before. Whoops. So you get little stuff like that. So they love all this cute little stuff. I mean, how cute is that, right? Who wouldn't want that on a postcard? And I could literally sit here all day and look at these and just reminisce, and I still may put these in some kind of journal, just a stamp journal, and just take one of each and just fill out a page. Hey Jen, welcome. Just fill out a page, a whole book of stamps that I can just flip page by page to see all the different stamps. And like I said, I still may do that. Here's a Minnie Mouse. But I love the stamp tradition in Japan, and the mail tradition, MAIL tradition. This is a cute little stamp, and it's hard to see, but it's got, you can see the glitter. So that is that. They also have a big tradition of having art stamps. So you can get traditional art like that. I don't know why that's not in, that should have been animals, but sometimes these get filed in the wrong place. But so there's stuff like that. So that's art, and of course, you know I'm going to have cranes. So there's a crane there. This Chinese style of art. So that's a phoenix there. There we go. And that's a beautiful gold kind of paper. Traditional roosters. This parrots. This is the love stamp. But how elegant is that? I just think it's a beautiful stamp. I don't know. I sometimes I don't know if it's just because I'm enamored with Japan that I enjoy them so much. But yeah, and then you have. So I have these subcategorized so that they're easy to find when I want to. So if I want a bird stamp, I want to decorate an envelope or a postcard, it's easy to do. I mean, how beautiful is that stamp? So those are birds and butterflies. Oh, let's see what else I have. So I have buildings, which isn't too big. Flowers, I have a whole bunch of flower stamps. And a lot of these are probably going to be cherry blossoms. So which is obviously a big theme. So that's a beautiful stamp, but it's just an odd size too. So that's easy. I use these like a lot of you folks use stickers. So I just use stamps in place of stickers. So that's how I use them. Very similarly to the way that you use them. You use stickers. But there's chrysanthemums. Roses are big as well. Japanese people love roses. Of course, I'm always going to try and find sunflowers. But isn't that a pretty stamp? Look at the color on that stamp. That ombre effect of the pinks to the purples. Okay, so I'm happy I still have you here. I haven't bored you too much, but yeah. So let's see what else. Food, for those of you into food. One of the things I do have are, as you know, my love of Mount Fuji. So I have a whole bunch of different Fuji stamps that I really love. And you'll see many times Fuji with the sakura, which is one of the photos that I take as well. So here's Fuji in the clouds. I have a Fuji with the sunrise coming, the sun just exposing the summit of Fuji, which is kind of cool. So those are Fujis. Isn't that a group, Fujis? Of course, if you love kawaii, then Japanese are going to love stamps. So they have a whole variety of I think that's a cute stamp there. Now, see, this is where I get messed up. So this is an Irish stamp that's in my Japanese collection. I don't know why. It just ended up there. Yeah, I don't know why these stamps are here. This is from the British Isles some way because it's got a queen on it, queen's head on it. So how it ended up in the Japanese section, I don't know. Here's another Irish stamp, but I think isn't that a gorgeous stamp? So that's love. I have miscellaneous, which is always going to be a huge collection. The thing I like about these are, we have our own, but these are, they're constellation stamps, and they have like silver holographic foil on it. So there's those. They love using a lot of this foil effect on their stamps. I love this stamp. I don't know if it's supposed to be zodiac, but it's a big bear with bear cubs, a polar bear, I'm assuming. This is a Saturn stamp. There we go. So that is miscellaneous. And then I'll just show you, I have nature, I have people, sports, transportation, and then holidays. Like I said, I'm always interested in how other countries celebrate the winter holidays, but so the Japanese go for cute. So there's that one. There's that one. A Christmas tree. All the major hotels in Japan will have a Christmas tree, fully bedazzled and decorated. And maybe that they do that just for their international clientele, but and that is that. So it has come to the end of another hour. I appreciate you joining in. So future Allison, if you are listening and watching, we hope you get to feeling better. And so thanks for joining. Like I said, always say, I know that you have a choice of where to spend your time in your evenings, and I'm just so happy that we can spend this time together. Hopefully, like I said, I haven't bored you too much, but as soon as I hope I'll be able to start demonstrating again if this mediation turns out well. So thank you for joining. Have a great night, and good night to all you princes and princesses of craft, all you kings and queens of what is good in the world. Good night. Bye-bye.